just two things to keep in mind in variation 7. Make sure you put the accents in the right place, so on the long notes and not at the beginning of the bows. And try to find the easiest way to do the large string crossings at the end so that you can do them as quickly and efficiently as possible. There are three elements to the string crossings. So the upper arm motion would simply be this. Now the lower arm motion is this. And finally the hand is this. So you need to use a combination of all three, and the hand is especially important here to be able to do it efficiently. So use the outside of the bow on the E string, on the inside on the G string. Variation 8 is tricky. The original is written slurred, and some people play this variation with 2 chords per bow, which I think is even harder. What you can do at the beginning is actually just simply stay in the string, in all 3 strings, or not really get out of the string, rather than catch each chord individually. So this way you have nearly a feeling of a drone. However, this approach does not work so well when the chords get really complicated and you have different fingerings, in which case you may have to catch each chord individually, which is what I try to do. For instance, in this section, you might want to first practice with the collet stroke on each chord, making sure that you catch all 3 notes in the best possible way. The pizzicato variation is challenging in a completely different way. To get the left hand pizzicatos to sound, you need to pull the finger down and away from the fingerboard. So not just across. In other words, don't just go like this, sideways, but don't worry about pitching other strings. What you want to get is as much noise as possible, or else the pizzicatos are simply just not heard. So when you practice it slowly, make sure that you get each of these motions rhythmically and pulling down on each one. And then the bow needs to be as percussive as possible, and this is best done at the tip, even though it's awkward with the string crossings, or else you're going to get probably too long, too heavy a stroke for the effect. The slow variation is very tricky after the pitch variation, because suddenly you have to be very steady, very precise, very calm. So make sure to breathe out before you play and before the bow changes, to calm yourself down. The intonation is extremely exposed in this variation, so make sure that the notes are exactly the same when they repeat, like the A's at the beginning, and make sure that notes that repeat in different octaves are also the same, like the E's, because the intonation is really obvious in this variation. thoughts about variation 11. First of all, these arpeggiated chords in 2-on-2 notes should be really connected, nearly like a rolled chord, to get the notes to speak and feel full. So go very smoothly from the bottom to the top. The other challenge is to get, of course, these fast arpeggios. Make sure that you don't feel any kind of impulse in the middle, in the shifts, in the middle of the arpeggios. Feel like you're rebounding from the bottom note in a way that makes you go through the whole motion without any kind of quirks or any stops in the motion. It helps to play variation 11 with a steady sense of tempo, which propels you, but also technically helps you figure out how to prepare and do all the motions in time. In the coda, make sure that you don't play the arpeggiations too fast at first, because they get faster and faster towards the end, so you have to pace yourself well. Also, a feeling of crescendo to the top helps the smoothness on the up and down arpeggio. Feel a little crescendo to the top on a slight release on the way down. On towards the end, when you do the very fast arpeggios, make sure that you can hear all the notes on the way up and down. If there are any notes that get swallowed up, you can practice accenting them. For instance, the C sharp after the open E on the way down is often hard to bring out because of the brightness of the open E before, so you can accent it at first.